Hello, dear students. After dealing with the writing and analyzing the model, now we're going to do some workbook exercises and some writing exercises. So, get ready because we're going to do together the exercises and you are going to check with me. First of all, let's see the exercise and I want you to find the expressions of how to give advice. Please choose the correct option. Number 1. I think or I don't think Julia should become a primary teacher. She has no patience and she doesn't like young kids. So, since she has no patience, I think she shouldn't be. So, we say, I don't think Julia should become a primary teacher because she has no patience. Number 2. It is or it is not a good idea to ask for a pay rise. You have only worked there for 2 months. So, it's not, of course, a good idea to ask for a pay rise. It is not logical. Number 3. If I were you, I would or I wouldn't take the day off, so holiday, not go to work. You look and sound really sick. So, I would, of course, take the day off because you sound really sick. Number 4, my best advice would be to worry or not to worry about it. Everyone makes mistakes, so don't worry about it. So, the advice could be not to worry about it. Number 5, Carlos should or shouldn't apply for more than one job. What if he doesn't get the first one? So, he shouldn't apply for more than one job, or he should apply? Of course, you should make many attempts in order to get the job that you want to. Okay, we're given now some expressions and we need to complete our conversation here. There are 2 extra that we don't need, and that is our example. Tomorrow is my first day of work experience. What do you think I should wear? This is our example. These are the possible sentences to be used. And what are we going to say in number 1? Take a look, please. So, you should definitely wear a suit, iron a shirt, and clean your shoes. Continue. Take a look, please. It is a good idea to look smart on your first day. Number 3, since that person helped, the other person, it says, I am not sure that's a good idea, Samantha, because the problem is that B says, why not? I am going to work on a farm, so wearing a suit and being smart in that job wouldn't help at all. For this reason, we have to read very carefully the conversation in order to see whether it is a good idea or not. Let's move on with another exercise. Now we need to fill in the missing words. This might seem a little bit difficult, but if you read it carefully and you understand the meaning of the conversation, then you will see that you can complete. Let's start. A local vet has just finished talking to Olivia and Toby's class about her job. The vet says now, so does anyone have any questions? And Olivia says, yes, I do. Thanks for your talk. I would really like to become a vet. What do you think I should do? And the vet says, well, my best advice would be, as you can see, the first letter is given. So how do we start by giving advice? By saying my best advice would be to work really hard in your science classes. You will need very good grades to get a place at a university veterinary school. Take a look, please. In order for you to complete it, you need to continue reading. So you have a look online. So why don't you have a look online at some of the university websites? Olivia might find it helpful, so she says, thanks. That's really helpful, of course, because the vet helped her with his advice. Anyone else? Asks the vet. Toby now has a question. He says, hi, yeah, I have a question. Take a look, please, at the possible answers. And he says, do you have any idea about how to get some work experience as a vet? Now the vet is going to give his idea. Most universities expect you to have some experience, so it's a good idea to try and work in a veterinary clinic or perhaps a zoo during your school holidays. What do you think we should put here? Well, let's see. We're giving advice, don't forget. So if I were you, that's how we start, I would email all the local ones and ask if they can help you. But I don't think you should expect them to pay you. So, unfortunately, there is a lot of competition. Okay, that's great or good advice. Thanks. So, if you read carefully the very beginning, you will see that you can find those missing words. Let's continue. We need to correct what is underlined. If we have a red line, it means that we have a spelling mistake. If we have a black line, it means that we have a grammatical mistake. I think you can find it, it's really easy. So, I'm sorry. This is how it's spelled. Of course not. I am sorry to hear your problem. I think I can give you an advice. No, we never count. We don't say one advice, two advices. No, it is uncountable. But we can say, I can give you some advice. Or we can say, I can give you one piece of advice. And things will to get better? No, things will get better soon. How do we give some advice? Which is the expression? If I were you, I would buy my little brother. How is little spelled? Little, take a look. I would buy my little brother a bag for a pet. This way, he can see that they are harmless. How do we write harmless? It is with a double S in the end, harmless. It would also be a good idea to buy him, that is a grammatical mistake, no, to buy him a book about bugs. Then he could see, take a look how it is written. Not see, this is the sea that we go swimming. No, he could see, look, see how useful. Be careful in the end. It's with one how useful they are. So many times we rush and we make grammatical mistakes or we make spelling mistakes. So don't forget, every time that you finish writing, always check, or even better, double check your pieces of writing. You will always see that you can correct yourselves for the mistakes that you might have made. Now, we are given these words and we need to put them in the text. This is an email of giving advice again. Were, why, but, of, advice, face, sorry, some, confident, anxiety also, and if. It's not difficult. Just read carefully. So, we start the email. I am what? I am sorry. We said that we sympathize in the letter. I am sorry to hear that you're afraid of meeting new people. It must be awful for you. What? But I think I can help. So we said in the first paragraph, we sympathize and we give the reason for writing. I think I can help you. That's why I'm writing. We start by giving advice. If I were you, of course, I would imagine myself at the barbecue feeling relaxed. And what? An adjective that is positive. Feeling relaxed and confident. This way, you will enjoy the barbecue as you are already expecting to. Another piece of advice. Why don't you ask a friend to go with you? And the result of this advice? If you do this, you won't have to face your fear alone. Another idea, another piece of advice. Also, it would be a good idea to focus on other people's instead. What do we need with the word instead? Instead of course, instead of your feelings. If you follow this advice, of course, you will hopefully forget your anxiety, of course, and start enjoying yourself. I hope I have been of some help. Write and tell me how you get on. As you can see again, we have the structure of how to write an email of advice. Sympathizing and giving the reason why I'm writing. Giving 3 possible pieces of advice with the result, and ending the letter by saying that you hope that you have helped. And of course, best wishes, Jane. One more thing that is very important when we write the letters of advice. We said that the style is informal, so we shouldn't use formal language, simple languages, everyday language. So, we have these informal words, and this is the formal expression that we shouldn't use. Let's start. We need to replace them. I would strongly advise you to. We cannot say that. What are we going to use? We're going to give some idea, some advice. So why don't you learn some relaxation techniques to assist, or, said in a very simpler way, to help you when you find yourself in a high place, or when you are high up. For instance, or very simply, for example, or like on a bridge. If I ever found myself facing this situation, which means if I were you, it's how we can start simply our advice. If I were you, I would also share my concerns with a professional, or, said it simply, I would go and see a psychologist. They would have the means to help you further, or they would be able to give you some advice or some help. And we can continue by giving different pieces of advice, but don't forget to give the result as well. Okay, thank you very much. Don't forget to revise your exercises a lot. Goodbye.